It is Saturday morning. I thought I'd try a slightly different type of video today, and I'm going to try and make this a little bit more natural, less edited, and see how it goes, because recently my videos have been kind of pants. The editing's been good, but the views have been horrific, right? So I'm going to go back to just trying to be a little bit more natural. So today, guys, right, I've just come in here. This is going to be a video that's more or less the same as the Into the Shrimp Room type videos, where I come in and just see what I have to do today in the shrimp room. Let me take these off right now, because I just can't see anything at all with these glasses on. Hey guys, you know it's the shrimp time in the morning when you have fresh cup of coffee. No better way to start the day, seriously. Right guys, so let's just go over what I would do as soon as I come in the shrimp room in the morning. I don't force the lights on normally, but I will today, just because you guys won't see a thing. My lights come on at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, normally for 6 hours. So let's do that now. Let's put them on manually. They're all on timers. If you hear a lot of noise, guys, it's I have the fans on in here as well. Right, and we'll quickly go around and switch the lights on first, and then we'll go on to the next job of the morning. And that is, guys, it's quite an important job as well, and that is to see if there's any dead shrimp. Guys, just let me know in the comment section below, are your calcio as light sensitive as this? I've always noticed with these guys that as soon as the light comes on, they scutter away to the sides. None of my other shrimp do this. What, look, they're not all running away to hide. These ones are not all running away to hide. So calcio, maybe they're light sensitive, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below so we can figure this out. And the guys, as I said, the next thing I would do is I would go around, just a quick overview of each tank and see if there's any dead shrimp, basically, right? Because as one thing you don't want to leave in a tank is a dead shrimp, especially if there's something wrong with the tank already, as in you might have like a bacterial issue, or if you've been overfeeding, if there's like one dead shrimp in the tank, if you don't remove it and the other shrimp eat it, they'll become the next dead shrimp kind of thing, right? So you want to nip that in the bud, right? The best way to do that is just to come in the morning and have a little look. I take it a girl has molted in here. This tank is steadily getting better and better, which I like. You can tell a girl has molted somewhere. I see quite a few babies in the jar this morning, which is quite nice to see. My moss in here is actually starting to grow and get green, so that's a good sign that we're on the right track with the ferts. Let's check some of the other tanks. Red King Kongs. This tank is quite nice looking. I did try a blackout on this tank to get rid of the hair algae, and it did work to an extent, because it was as bad as this tank here, guys. Look. Right, so I'm just looking for deaded shrimp. These guys got a good cull last week. My fishbone galaxies, can't really see any dead shrimp at all, which is a really good sign. These guys are starting to grow because we've been culling this tank too. Looking good. Yeah, I can't really see anything wrong with any of the tanks today at all. Good, make sure my plants are all doing well. I actually have a little probe for this somewhere that tells me that when I need to water my plants. So God knows where I put it though. Where did it go? Nobody knows. It will be somewhere. I actually bought it so I can test all these plants and water them properly, because a lot of my nepenthes and stuff were just too dry, but they look okay, but they were too dry and the plants were kind of dying, right? So let's have a little look in here, because this is a tank that I did have issues with probably 2 weeks ago. Any dead shrimp? None. There's like a million babies in this tank, guys. Millions of babies. Any dead shrimp? Any dead shrimp? Is that a dead shrimp there? Okay, so this tank still has the odd dead shrimp, right? So there's one there as well. 2 dead shrimp, so that's 2 dead shrimp that we have to take out this tank. Anything in here? Nope. Anything in here? I've actually put 5 more spotted German head pintos in this tank with my my really nice Galaxy fishbone female in here, just to see if we can hurry up this breeding that's not happening. No dead shrimp. This one's had a little bit of a clear out. I need to fix this filter in here. It's just not for these shrimp are very messy. The snails are very messy. You need to feed them a lot. Nothing dead at all. If there was a dead shrimp in here, I would never see it. I think the baby crays have been born. This girl here, guys, this is a girl, but she is, I think she had a bad molt because she's missing a lot of her antennae. I noticed half of her tail wasn't formed properly as well. Let me see, is there any babies on show? Because that girl did have her babies. They're so small. They're actually just like small cherry shrimp. Maybe we'll see one soon enough. Let's have a look at the other tanks over here. This tank needs a filter fix. This is my Sulawesi tank. I actually put some crushed coral in here yesterday to try and bring the GH up a little bit, because I'm aware, I don't know what it is with this tank. The shrimp are okay, but they're not exploding with life like they should be. Right, so I'm thinking it's still a hardness issue with this tank. So we've added, I'm saying crushed coral, it's a piece of coral actually. Into this tank I have to fix that filter. Oh, the other thing with this tank, guys, I didn't mention was I had the heater plugged in here. Now, I'm not saying someone in the house did it on purpose, but someone definitely came in this room and unplugged that heater. It was probably one of the kids when they did the hoovering. And they didn't plug it back in, and this tank for about a month was just totally dead. The shrimp were like still. And that's because Sulawesi like much warmer water than your average aquarium, right? So this is about 28 degrees. This is back to normal. Switching oxidator in here as well because the water is so warm. Whoa. I'm not sure if this will come out in camera, but there's billions of babies. I'm saying billions. I can see about 30, 40 little new ones floating around, free floating all over the place. You probably can see them as well with your big eye bullocks. These 2 tanks down here got a change last week. This one has had an Amazon sword added to it. I've removed the apple snails because the apple snails will eat this Amazon sword. I changed the to the sandy substrate because, guys, I just cannot see the shrimp in this tank at all because they are because the colour they're like green jades, but they were kind of like mixing in with the background too much. So this is much better. This is like a red river sand, I think it is, red river sand, right? So this tank is going to be good. This also got a tiny bit of coral in the back. I'm just doing my normal effort regime. I'll watch this Amazon sword as well. I love Amazon swords. I'll watch it for changes in colour, growth, all that kind of stuff, and we'll see how it goes from there. This tank got a wee bit of a clean yesterday, and I got some snails added to it as well. Hornwort is growing fine. I added a piece of coral as well just to buffer up that GH. I think the rule of thumb, guys, is for every kilogram of coral that you add to something like a 50-litre tank, it will increase the GH by 1 or 2 parts. I think 1 or 2 parts. Did I say that right? You know what I mean. The hardness level will go up 1 or 2 parts. So if you have a GH of 5 or 6, this will take it to a 7. This needs to go up somewhere else. Looking good. I do notice the plant's dying off a little bit in here. Maybe I need a little bit more ferts. This tank has the opposite. It's just like a jungle. What else as well? Other things that I need to check when I come in this room as well is things like my water. Make sure my water is on properly. Guys, here's one of the tips. Someone told me this a while ago, right? And I'm not saying this was the cause of the deaths in this tank or not, because I just can't be sure, but I did actually have water up here prepared for about 3 weeks that I didn't use, and then I used it, and then I had issues in that tank, right? So As a rule of thumb, right, I'm only really making water now up here when I'm going to use it. Right, so this is stuff I made yesterday for topping up my tanks. It's hot here. Speaking of temperature, let's have a little look and see what the temperature is in the tanks. Right, so this is the highest tank in the room, so this will be the warmest tank up here. This is the air temperature in the room, 25.6, so it's the tank temperature is 23 degrees Celsius. I would imagine that smaller tanks, we might take a reading from one of the smaller tanks as well, just to see how hot it is, because smaller tanks heat up faster, right? So that's the big bonus of having a larger tank, is they stay cooler that little bit longer because there's more water in the tank to cool. The only tank I got, let me think about this. I don't actually have any small tanks high up. I was going to show you something, but I can't. Let's have a little look, because that recent video I did about cooling your aquariums, right? Let's check some tanks, because I wanted to see something. You might actually hear this fan up here. It's good to have a fan in the room, just blowing constantly. I'll take the reading, and because I'm not really sure, guys, you'll be able to see anything when I'm doing this stuff. Come on. Let's see, can you even see this? Maybe, yes, maybe no. 25.5, 25.4. This tank is warmer, but it has pop filters in the back, right? So that is something I'll look into today as well. 25.4, there's no heater in this tank. It is 180 litres. The other one's about 240. 25.4, that seems to be a consistent temperature. So that bigger tank up there is colder, higher up, with no heater than this tank. 25.4. Right, this is just an air-driven Mophie. Let's see how this goes. 24.4. 24.3. I'm trying to think, why is the other tank up there colder than these ones? 24.2. Oh, you know what it is, guys? There's actually a fan up there. I'll show you in a second. 24, right? So these tanks are cold enough anyway, as it is. There's an actual fan up here, right, that blows against my air pump that you can see in the back, right? So, yeah, because you can see the difference here. My water level is normally a little bit high. This is evaporative cooling. This is why it's a bit cold, right? So it's blowing air against this pump up the back, like so. It's going that way, right? But it's also drawing in air from the back, right? So it's clearly drawing in air from across the tank. So there you go. I'm going to stick this in. I can't even see the reading. I'm going to have to put it in and then press hold for a few seconds because we have this block thing in the way. It says 23 degrees Celsius on that little gauge, right? But they can be wrong. Yeah, there's definitely a girl moulted in this tank. Girl, where are you? So this tank is it's doing okay. For the amount of shrimp in here, there should be more babies than there is. I can see tiny little babies on the brick over there actually as I'm speaking, so it's a good sign. But still, guys, there's still not as many shrimp in this tank as there should be. Things like this wasser tank, you can see there. I did a video on that how long ago, like 6 months ago. That wasser tank should be much bigger. This moss here is brown. Right, but the new stuff I put in, and since I've changed the fertilizer regime a little bit, it has, they're starting to get greener, right? So this might just be a thing that takes a little while to catch up. Right, I'm going to press hold on my little thing up here so we can get a temperature reading. 24.2, right, so this might be faulty. Let's see, shall we reset it? This might be needing replaced. But 24 degrees is still fine in a shrimp room. 23, so it's 1 degree off. Let's try one of these ones here as well. Let's see what we're going to do here. So my shrimp room temperatures are fine as they are. This is 24 degrees. This one has a hub filter on it. Let's see if this one is any hotter or colder. 24. 0.1. Yeah. So they're all doing well, right? But I would like it to be even cooler than this if we can figure out a way to do it right. But guys, I do have air conditioning. I have an air conditioning machine outside that I don't use because it is loudy, it is noisy, and they're expensive to run, and mine's is can't be worked on a timer, right? So when it's cold at night, the thing is still on, producing making an awful lot of noise, but it's not actually making the room any colder, right? So it could be just it's an Anderson type air conditioning unit. It might be just like a bad one or whatever. You know, I was saying to you guys about that thing that I have for measuring the plant stuff. This is one of these things. I think this is awesome for this kind of thing, right? So this is my Indian almond plant here. Let's see if it needs water. Shove it in. Dry, moist, right in the middle of the moist, right? So the soil looks dry in the top, but deeper down where the roots are, it's still quite moist. Things that we have to do today are just general stuff like as I said, I have some water there that was prepared yesterday. It's been circulating since yesterday. It's pure reverse osmosis water, so we have tanks to fill up, like this one up here. This one here clearly needs filled up. That middle one needs filled up a little bit. And I just go, because mine's is gravity fed, guys, I'll do mine's by highest tank first, right? So this one will get done first. Me gravity feeding this tank from this level up here will take the best part of the day, right? Because it does gravity feed, but it's very slow. I don't care that it's very slow because that is the best way to do it. We were talking about temperature there a second ago. I think this is one of the things I might change here today as well. You probably won't see this because I'll have to go out and buy some stuff. Is this window has mosquito mesh on it, but this window doesn't. Right, so one of the better ways for getting a cooler shrimp room as well is to actually have good flow through the room, right? So my apologies if you hear this, right? I can just hear it every so often, this fan up here. If you hear it on the camera, one of the best ways to cool a shrimp room, guys, is with good flow through the room, right? So you guys will often see this if you're in a house where you have the back door open, as an example, and you go in the front door, right, and you're like, you open the front door and you feel something like resisting against it. You feel like a draft or a suction or whatever. That is your flow through, right? So this is what if you can do, I can do that in here, because I have a door there, I have two windows and another door over there, and the one room this size means I can create a flow through effect, right? So what I normally do, guys, is this door here, I normally get one of my big buckets, one of the salt buckets or pellet food buckets, and I just wedge it into the bottom of the door here to keep it open. Right, I normally use one of the bigger ones on the back to make sure Lucy can't move it, and then on the outside as well, you can see I have just fly mesh, right? So there's one of my flow through points, but one of the ones I could change actually for more flow through, just to let more air come in and out, is this window here as well. And all I would do is I'd go and get the mesh from the store and use one of those, I don't know, it's like an industrial staple gun thing. You just go and put it on all around the window, and, you know, and then I'll be able to open the window and close it and whatnot. This is one of the ones I wanted to try and fix today as well, is this. These guys have had some babies. I did notice the other day that they've had some babies. This is like just a mixed little tank of myocardiina. That filter is just covered in string algae, probably because I have this light on it. So that's another thing I'll have to fix today. So we have that filter there to fix. Dead shrimp, I should be writing all this down. 2 dead shrimp in that tank, no dead shrimp anywhere else. Oh guys, by the way, the first thing I did when I come in the shrimp room this morning was, before I even switched on the camera, is get over to the sink. Wash your hands, make sure you scrub your nails. Like I just touched that bottle there, I could feel a little bit washing up liquid on my hand. You see it soaping up? I could easily put that hand into a shrimp tank now and kill the shrimp. Now that's how sensitive they can be. I always say the wrong thing with this stuff. I'm not going to touch it again because I have to wash my hand again, but in Norway it's called uppvask. In Scotland I think we just call it dishwashing soap or something. And in my videos I keep on referring to it as dishwasher soap. It probably is dishwasher, but not the machine dishwasher. But so one of the ones that we can do right now is remove those dead shrimp from this tank. I think they're dead anyway. There's one there, a little blue boat, and one away over here. Can't see anything else, but guys, the tank is just like littered with babies all over the place. So we washed our hands. Let's get in here. It's never a nice thing to see, especially when they're so small. Little things. I can see right next to this one there's a molt, right? So this could have been a failed molt. Such a shame. I hate losing shrimp. Yeah, but this is the thing you've got to do. You've got to come in here, and this is how I deal with my dead shrimp, guys. Just put the water on like this. Straight in the sinkhole. And another thing that we're going to do, I've already washed my hands, just bear that in mind. I'm going to get a wee sip of coffee here. We have to check this tank out because there was 2 dead shrimp in here. I'm just going to go over, just eyeballing everything. God, they're so small, aren't they? These baby shrimp. So small. Everywhere, look at them. Right, and as long as I get dead shrimp in this tank, I won't feed the tank either. It's something that you guys shouldn't do either, is don't keep them putting a problem into a tank if you still have dead shrimp. Right? So I know from experience, right, that this might take a week or 2 to go away, the dead shrimp, the chain reaction that causes the shrimp to die in the tank it can last for weeks basically, right? So if you go in and you remove a couple of dead shrimp, don't think it's over just because you remove those dead shrimp, right? The effects of anything that you do in a shrimp tank can last for weeks, and it can have like a knock-on effect, right? So in general, I don't normally put my hands and my arms into my tanks like daily and move stuff around and all that kind of thing, because you're risking introducing contaminants into the water, right? But when you have dead shrimp in the tank, it is something that you have to do, right? So we've just eyeballed along here. I'm going to check quickly, guys, behind this brick here. Some little shrimp there, get out the way. Of course there's like a little King Kong right in the way. Hopefully I didn't crush anything. Let's check all this stuff. Any more dead? I don't think there is. In plants as well, guys, you can have dead shrimp and not know they're there, right? So no dead behind, a lot of little shrimp. Okay, so the way to do this is get your plant like this, just turn it upside down and like give it a gentle shuggle at the surface. I can see all the shrimp coming out. See them all? Give it a gentle shuggle, gentle shake. I'm not sure if shuggle is a Scottish word. Right, and I can see snail eggs here. I'm not sure they'll hatch in this tank because I did try a little experiment last week with this tank with Marissa snails, and it didn't end too well because they started to eat all my good plants, all my Busa philandra. I can't see any more dead shrimp. Let's have a wee look behind here. There is one. There is a dead shrimp actually, and it's another blue bolt right in the corner. And so if you didn't grab this, if you didn't get it, it would go off because the shrimp are already overfed as it is, right? So they're not going to eat another shrimp. God damn it! This thing is playing hard to catch. It's an adult. It has a slight red head. Get out, guys. And by the way, you should always check inside the net as well, because I think it was last week. No more dead in here. Yeah, it was last week in here. I went like this to put this to the side to dump out, and there was a baby shrimp in there, right? So you always check your net as well. Ready to go. Right, next, I'm happy that there's no dead shrimp in here, guys. I'm just going to fix the camera for a second and dry my arm. It's just going to be one of those type of videos, guys, where I'm not doing any editing at all in it. So we're going to film for a little while until I run out of topics to talk about, or as I see here, battery life. I didn't think about that. We're just going to see what we can see. Right, this is one of the ones we can fix right now as well. Is this filter? I'm trying to think of a way for us to do this a little bit better, because I'm not really keen on the glare of this white rock here. So how can we do this? How can we do it, guys? How can we do it? Shrimp are very active today, which is a good sign. What we will need here is our scraper, because we're going to clean the glass as well. Our towel. I'm just thinking about placement, guys. How can I do this so it looks a little bit more natural? Let me think. Or was it good enough just on the side? Let me know in the comment section below where it is you would have put the things that you see in the tank here. I don't know, what do you think? Can it go back to where it was? I don't know if we should move these two here and move that white thing to the back, but have it lowered down. And should we try that? Oh, that water's nice and warm. These little fellas are so lucky, right? So when you're doing stuff in Sulawesi tanks, just remember, right, Sulawesi love to hang around the bottom of everything, right? So just take your time, because you can guarantee that there will be Sulawesi under everything that you pick up. Just take your time, put stuff down slowly, give them a chance to get out the way. Right, let's see, can we... Let's look how many there is at the back. Little buggers. I wonder if there's a way we can lie this down. This thing is heavy. So this is a piece of coral I got sent to me yesterday. These little Sulawesi babies. That might do there actually. Because this, guys, it looks like it's really, really white, but it will go green eventually. This is like too much stuff in here, in this thing. It will go green eventually. Let's put you there in the middle. That's not too bad actually. Let's see, where can we put the filter? If I put it at the back, we can have these stones more to the front. Lovely, lovely air filter. So we need to clean that back panel a little bit. I'm not sure how bad it's going to be. It doesn't look like it has much on it. Right, so the idea behind adding more coral to the tank is the same as the one that you just saw with my Neos, and that is to give the water a little bit more of a GH reading than it does, just to make it a little bit more stable. Because guys, when you have any kind of like neutral water to hard water tank, right? If you don't have the proper substrate in the tank that buffers the water, you're going to run into issues. It's probably clean enough. You're going to run into issues, right, because there's nothing to buffer the water, right? And things like plants, bacteria, as an example. I'm just going to clean this little sucker things, if they will be cleaned. See all the silhouette on the filters. Yeah, if you don't have enough GH in a harder water tank, you end up with issues with the bacteria not getting enough things like calcium and magnesium. Hey guys, I'm going to turn the little head on this filter along this way so that the tank just flows in one direction. One direction, is that not a band or something? Right, so that gives us a tiny bit more space on this side, you see it? So let's move this over a wee bit. Move this piece of wood. I like to have just the odd bit of wood in all my tanks. We will see. We'll see how this goes, guys. If it's going to look any good or not. It is what it is. Not too bad, not too shabby. Let's clean the glass while we're here as well. I'm going to use one of these magic eraser things just in the front panel. This one isn't too bad. Right to the bottom, watch not to kill the Mr. Sulawesi. So the only plants I've actually managed to keep alive in here so far are some crypts, right, and they melted right back. I think there's 3 of them in here. They melted right back to nothing and then they grew again. Yeah, I don't know what it is, the white on this, I can't get the placement of it right. I wonder if we should move it more to the corner or... I can't... Leave it be, Mark, leave it be. By the way guys, lava rock is quite porous, right? So when you put it into tanks for a while it will try and float as well, right? See it? You can see it's like a little bit wobbly. Fix this filter pipe. And I'm going to put the lid back on because this tank is warm. It will be fine. It will be fine. If anything, guys, right, we might, if it doesn't green up nicely like I wanted to, I'll simply just break it up into smaller pieces and lay it in the back somewhere. And the guys, another reason for me adding the coral like this is because when I did it in this tank, I noticed the shrimp were much more active. The moss has almost died down to nothing. See it here? I actually have Cheeto here as well. I actually might think about a way to get this to float, to give it more light, because Cheeto macroalgae is quite cool. It's kind of like the saltwater version of Java moss, kinda. Let's get this lid back up here. Bigger lid. It's the wrong one. I have two for this side. Alright, let me see what we've got next. We should think about topping these tanks up, right? So we're going to use that water supply. I'm going to do that now on camera as well. We just quickly dry the floor, guys. You guys should do this as well if you have a tiled floor. Use your foot on a towel, dry the surfaces, because if you do not do this, you will actually end up getting athlete's foot. Before I used to dry the floor, I used to get athlete's foot all the time. All the time. Right, now I never get athlete's foot because I'm a proper athlete. You know? Alright, let's see, we're going to start our top-up procedure for this tank up here, right, and I need to just do some basic stuff here. This thing here is just to stop the light hitting your eyeballocks when I'm streaming and stuff. I have lots of them here, little covers. We need to add a ball valve type thing up here. Let me see, where is it? This is it here, ready to go. Right, because I was going to say because of the thickness of this, I might not have to use this other thing. On my other tanks, guys, I actually have to use these clamps on my tanks that have a thick rim like this. Okay, so there's quite a few of them on my rim, there's like 3 or 4 of them. This one I used to put on the front, but this part here is quite thin, so we can put our little thing up there. Okay, so let's get you over here. So guys, I hope you're having an awesome day and you don't mind this type of video where we actually do stuff more in real time. Like so. I'm going to open this valve on here. Open, you mother. And guys, normally the level of the water in this tank is up to at least here, right? So you can see it has evaporated quite a bit. I know for sure I can't do this next part without putting you guys down, right? So let's see, can I aim you up the way? Just for a second. Aim you up the way. Yeah, I think I can. And plug you in. Of course, I unplugged the wrong part. Right, so our water is ready to go over here. Right, so to get this to go, guys, all I have to do is unplug this. You'll see the ceiling for a second. Let me just put you guys here for a minute. All I have to do is unplug this, suck on the tube to create a siphon. Be quick and put it back on, and we should get some water flow coming through here at sea. But it's very slow because the height of the header tank, as you would say, is just a little bit higher. Technically I would say it's probably a good 30 centimeters higher, right? So that's all we need. You can see it's dripping in here. This is on full, but that drip is fine for this. So this will drip away. I can go and do other stuff, and as soon as the water level goes too high, I can probably put that down a bit. Maybe I have to put you over here a little bit. I'll do that off camera because I can see my battery is kind of struggling. So we did this. Oh, you know, one of the important things I've forgotten is my shrimp actually need to be fed. So let's see, what kind of food can we feed them today? I think we'll go for some qual drop. Let's see what type. Qual drop Vital, I think, one of these ones here. I don't often show you guys me feeding other people's food on my channel, but qual drop food is quite good, so smells lovely. Qual drop food is quite good. The parts in it are very small, which I quite like. So guys, I'm just going to go around, dump in some food. I'm going to try and dump in the amount of food that I think is appropriate for the tanks. Normally I feed them way more than this, but I fed them 2 days ago and they were just okay coming to the food. Did I feed all these? No, I didn't. Let's see. I have a wee hole here for this one. Goes in like this. That stainless steel spoon will have to come out there. Guys, we have our cray-crays here. I wonder if I can do the lid on this with one hand. Oh yes. And so these guys have bigger crayfish pellets. I buy these in 20 kilogram tubs and they go berserk for them, right? So this can be fast. That's all they need, and you can see it already. You can see already, right, because this stuff is quite smelly, this food. Smelly Nelly. No offense to Ellie. Ellie Nelly in the chat if you're there. Ellie Nelly. Where are you little buggers? One of the guys I noticed in here is this actual one here. I noticed, how do you sex them? The males definitely have longer claws even when they're smaller. This is my older male here. He's like, fuck, let me out of here, mother effers. You'll see here as well, this one looks like a boy. Come on, where's the rest? So let's get some more food into some of the other tanks. These fellas are very active, so they can get a nice piece of food right in the front. That's what I'm saying, guys. I'm trying to make a big point of this in my channel is you know, like telling you guys, don't overfeed your shrimp. I often do it because I stream. I try to make a video at least once a week and I stream, right, and then if I don't have a proper feeding schedule, because I often don't, I just feed when I can because I go camping and stuff. I can forget when I feed shrimp, and like for example, did I feed the shrimp yesterday? I know for sure I didn't, but sometimes I don't remember if I fed the shrimp yesterday, and you can feed them too much. This tank has a lot of shrimp in it. This is a couple of hundred shrimp in it now, and it's very small, right? So I'm expecting this tank to be very full in a second. Very active. Let me see, you know what I mean, guys? It's like, did I just feed this tank? I can't see any food in there, so that's how bad my memory's getting. Tangerines, they've actually had a lot of babies. I did notice when I filmed this tank a few weeks ago for a video that they had like loads of little teeny top babies. You see them? So it's a good sign. A good sign that you're still going in the right direction. This tank is coming along quite nice. The pandas are mature enough now to start their own colony. The babies that have grown up. I'm going to put a couple of pieces of food in the next tank. My voice is going. Because I actually think there might be 2 crayfish in here. How, you might ask, did I get 2 crayfish in here? And, because when I had the cult up here, guys, when I had the cult up right here, I took out what I thought were small Texarkana cray-crays, and I think they weren't small Texarkana cray-crays at all. And so here's one of them here, right? And I'm pretty sure this one is smaller than the crayfish I saw in here before, right? So it's either shrunk or there's 2 crayfish in this tank. You see it? It's an Australian red claw as well. You might not see it for the awful glare. You see it? But when I fed this tank the other day, I didn't see the bigger one. It's got a little pellet and it's buggered off. Loads of Sawassertan, guys, if you want to buy it, it's in my shop. Same with the Salvinia. I'm literally throwing it out now. I think I fed, no I haven't, I've still got that side to feed, oh my god. You see what I mean? I'm such a dumbass. Some tanks I'm not going to feed because there's just so much stuff in it. Like this will have loads of biofilm, there's leaves in here. This gets the calcio fed. Let's get over here, guys. I've been trying a slightly different food on my Sulawesi. I've actually powdered up a lot of pellets using one of these pepper grinders, and I grind in. It's like impossible for me to do with one hand, so you won't see it. The opie, they can get a piece of food. It's always better to underfeed the opie as well, because Some people never feed the tanks and they breed tons of shrimp. But I like to feed them every so often because you can tell that they like to be fed at least once a week. And I dropped the food on the floor somewhere. Right, so in general, guys, when I feed this tank, they go berserk. What was quite interesting as well was this moss ball here. It used to be away at the back. And it used to be covered in this green moss stuff here, right? And then all of a sudden, it was at the front. And the same with this one, right? And it's weird with this one because I can actually see the shape in the gravel and this layer of algae here where it used to be. So it's obviously floated, came over here and sunk again, which is quite cool to see, or not to see in my case. Guys, these things are cool. Putting magnets on your covers. Look at that, straight on the side of the fridge. Oh, and there's one here that's right in the way as well. Let's see, can I just fling it over? Dumbass. Right, so we are onto the green jade tank here. This one actually needs a little bit of a top up, this tank. Oh, we have babies. Bambinos. There's a little baby there. I knew I saw baby. Yeah, there is babies. Look, babies. Very cool. This is the kind of tank you have to watch your feeding with again because there's not so many shrimp in here. More food, come on. Guys, try to film and feed tanks with lids is just a pain in the ass. This tank here has a lot of shrimp in it so I can get a decent sized piece of food. This tank is a jungle. Let's briefly talk about this, guys, while we're here. How are these tanks so different? This has a thicker layer of Aedes Amazonia powder. This one has virtually half a centimetre. This is easily 2 centimetres. This one has a much bigger tub of mustard soil in the Asian style filter. This one has like a quarter of the amount, right? So you can see the difference in the tanks. This one's just overgrowing like mad. This one's not so much, but it's quite clearly a difference in the fertilizer amount in this tank. You can see. Look at the Java moss on top of that rock there. It's like, it's not even Java moss. It's like the skeleton of Java moss. Skeleton. Right, so it just goes to show that you should have more soil in the tank than I do here, or put more soil in the tank in some other way. Where did that food go that was here? I don't know. Yeah, I can see more babies running across the gravel here. So it's a good sign. At least I'm actually able to see the babies. I think I fed all the tanks. Let's have a little quick look and see. I didn't feed this one. I'm not going to feed this one until we stop having deaths. Crystals have come to the front. Looking good. Oh, I can see babies on the glass. Oh, that's a good sign. I can see at least one baby anyway, or 2 babies. It's a good sign. Bambinos. In here I'm looking for my galaxy female, wherever she may be. We're also watching for the other German spotted head pintos in here because, guys, I think the first one I put in here was a girl. I think the second one I put in here was a male. I actually put another 5 shrimp in here last week that I think were males, right? So eventually our galaxy fishbone is going to get buried off one of these shrimp here, and as soon as she does, the rest of the shrimp are coming out the tank. These males will go back into the German spotted head pinto tank over there, right? Because we don't want any extra breeding in here. We only want her to have her babies because we're going to try and make a galaxy boa from this cross, right? So it will be interesting to see if and when she gets buried. Let's see, did any more of the crays come to the front? Let me see how we're doing in here today. These are the crystal black fancy hybrids. This tank here has recently been cleaned out a little bit, that's why it looks a bit dirty. I'm actually going to take out all the Marissa snails because they're just waste magnets. They eat absolutely every single plant you put into a tank. I put a lot of them back in here 2 weeks ago, and I can see that they're not being eaten by the crayfish, not yet anyway, so at least they have a chance in this tank. We're going to return this tank back to its glory with our blue rillies, because you can see them here. Blue rilly, blue rilly. There's one that looks like a cherry shrimp there that'll have to come out. Let's check the rest of the tanks before we say hi to Bra. Just making sure everything is okay. Sometimes, guys, as well, I like to come in here in the morning and I'll just count the shrimp, right, especially in a tank where you don't have so many shrimp. Just come in and go, like, there's a baby there, one, another baby there, two. It's not such, not so many babies in here, but it just gives you something to look at and something to do. You guys are probably the same. Three, another bambinos. You see what I mean though, guys, like there's not so many shrimp. Oh, lovely berry female right there. Not so many shrimp, but they're getting better. They're quite clearly very active, so what we're doing here is working. We're going to touch on something else before we go as well. Eating all that food in there. You guys probably can't see a thing because of the glare. Pandas, gone berserk. Tangerines. Spotted heads gone berserk. This tank is doing so well. Look at that glare as well. This tank is doing amazingly good. This is one of those ones, guys, that I stopped interfering with, and they're doing absolutely amazingly good. Stopped interfering as in I stopped trying to fix the tank. Stop trying to fix it. Plants are doing all their own thing. Before we go, guys, I wanted to talk to you about something with this as well. We talked about using Seachem to neutralise nitrites and nitrates and ammonia and stuff in this before. One of the other things you can use is actually this stuff here, right? This is ascorbic acid, which is basically vitamin C. You can use this. I trawled the internet for weeks trying to find a dose for this, and I come across different reef forums and whatnot, and they give different doses, milligrams a litre and whatever. So for a tank like this, you're aiming for 5 milligrams a litre. For me, what that means is one of the scoops that I have in here, let me show you. Look at these calcium. Again, guys, let me know in the comment section if you think these guys are light sensitive. One of these little scoops, right? This little scoop is 0.2 grams level and flat, right? If you heat it, it's 0.3 grams, right? So for a tank this size here, the one right in front of me, that is what you need for your dose. 0.3 grams, right? And you want to dose it twice a day into your tank. You want to mix it up. Is that another dead shrimp there? Might be another dead shrimp there. You want to mix it up and just add it to your water column, right? So 0.3 grams for a tank this size. I did the math. I haven't done a video on it yet, guys, because when I'm not sure if something works at 100%, you will never see it, right? So if this works, there are many benefits to dosing vitamin C. It's an antioxidant. If you use tap water as an example, you can use ascorbic acid, vitamin C, as a dechlorinator as well. It also binds other things. It's very good for the animals in the tank. It promotes healing of wounds. It helps their immune system. So you can see there's like many benefits over stuff like your things like Seachem Prime. Right, so let me just see. Was that a dead shrimpy? I don't think. It was just another shrimp. They were actually just... Were they breeding? OMG. Guys, if you've enjoyed today's different into Mark Shrimp Room, I don't know what you want to call this video, just another day in the life of our shrimp tanks. It's only been roughly, what, an hour, this video, which is probably more than long enough for a lot of you. But guys, if you like this kind of content, or this way of filming where I'm doing stuff and I show you in real time, look at all those silhouettes. They love this. They love this wood, look. Get off that piece of wood. If you like it like this way, this format, then please leave a comment and tell me in the comment section below, right? Because I need your feedback with this kind of stuff. Guys, I love you all. I'll see you in the next one. Happy shrimp keeping.